What's up, Trekkies? Hi, so we are probably not looking at anything close to news. I checked this morning. This is for PWI. No, although that does show it. Why didn't you do your thing? Why is my Chrome acting weird? There's Zen charge bonus. You get a bonus Zen starting at 500. So yeah, here's your charges. I guess. It's a Zen charge bonus. What are you supposed to? You want to buy Zen? Buy Zen. I guess. Anyways, so since it apparently, out of the few videos that I do watch, usually the ones that pop up in the Facebook group, not for the fleet, but for the other one that's moderated by my fleet leader. He's one of the moderators, at least. If he's not a moderator, then you're acting like one. And he's doing a good job, but whatever. So I'm going to go over what a lot of STO YouTubers tend to not be doing. They're going over the science changes, but as a tactical officer, and they don't really know what they're talking about. Or they do know what they're talking about because, like, one video I saw, the guy was in the Paradox. The giant time ship Paradox dreadnought thing. So I watched the video and he was doing the Infected Advanced. And obviously he had a boost to his DPS by 17k because it was 100k before, now it was 117k. And I'm sitting there, I'm like looking at his bars going, where is your sensor scan? Like, he wasn't even a science officer and he was in a science dreadnought. Not really even doing science stuff. He was like beamboating. It was so, like, you don't know what you're doing. You're in a science vessel. You're not treating it like a science vessel. You just happen to have all the temporal consoles, because I saw him like temporal backstep once. Even though I think for the heavy DPS players that wastes too much time, so they wouldn't use it that much. So I figured, you know, it's been like a week. I've gotten used, I'm still using the Vesta. I'm still using the Surveillance Explorer, which is the science console, which is the science affiliated science. You know how this goes. So it's got like 5 science, 3 engineering, 3 tactics. That's its console layout. But I'm using all 3 consoles. I'm using even the previous, I probably should make a ode to the tier 6 Vesta. Should be the tier 5/6 Vesta, because I have both anyways, we'll get into that one. So basically, I want you guys, I'm just going to go over, because nothing changed about the skill tree, and it's all like the meat of the abilities that changed, not the stat. Does that make sense? Anyways, I'm going to put up here in the corner, I'm just going to leave it there, science skill-based stats. I am at the research lab right now, so I have everything properly moved in. So, you know, all my tactical and all my skills are taking effect. So this is the, I'm going to move over here. This is the list of the skill and my number in it. Obviously, as you can see, I have like 120 control expertise. I didn't realize that my control expertise had gotten so low. But, as you can see, my shield drain is almost twice that, and my particle generator is twice that. They affect each things differently. It's not like, you know, but my drain expertise is a lot better. However, I do use more drain stuff than I use control. I mean, I have gravity well. I've got anti-time entanglement singularity, which it doesn't have a pull. Never mind. So, I mean, control, maybe the hold will last longer, but I'm not putting my ducks in a row for that one. But certainly, it does, like the anti-time, it does like 1600 physical damage each second with 100% shield penetration. That's pretty cool. And, you know, especially with my gravity well, pulling everything at a minus 0.2 repel, again, but it's still, here, Alt 6. It's my emergency power to aux. 0.21 repel with 1300 kinetic damage per second, and I'm not even at full aux. I know, it's like a travesty, I'm not at full aux, but I'm sitting here at like 127 of 130, so. From what I can tell, what happened with science, specifically science, or, you know, is that we actually got buffed. Like, gravity well doesn't seem to be nearly as, I mean, maybe that repel was always that. I can't really remember, but it certainly holds things a lot easier. It may not pull them to the center nearly as much, but when I'm doing the space station one advanced, when we have swarm, it wrecks. Well, plus that and anti-time tank. And then you couple that with destabilizing resonance beam, which got buffed. I mean, it's ignores shields 843 physical damage to everything in 3 kilometers. I mean, I like that ability in and of itself. Not only that, I've got stuff that, the thing with science is not the actual meat of the abilities. Although if you stack them up, you can shred something. The way destabilizing resonance beams, it really seems like you're shredding them. But like the radiation damage dot after, on the end of that, which is like from temporal operative. But anyways, so when you get that dot extra on there, that radiation, that's like, what? Because that applies to all control thing. It's like when you've got space, the drain infection, when you add electrical damage to any time you drain stuff, well, guess what? I have Tychon's Rift, which applies that in an AoE. No, that does not, but it afflicts, like a 4,200 damage radiation dot every second for 10 seconds. I'm trying to get things that you guys would normally get. Like the quantum destabilizing beam from the quantum phase set. I've said it before in the videos. If you're a science officer in a science vessel, go get that thing, because you're gonna have drain regardless. So why not drain, I mean, the quantum torpedo is, it drains shields. Like mine says 2,600 all shields to 2 kilometer radius. Whether you, and if you high yield or torpedo spread that, it goes out to 4 kilometers. And then torpedo spread deals additional shield damage. So it's like, and then I use this because I'm using the Vesta. I have the dual heavy quantum phase cannons, which are basically, guess what? Drain more shields. On top of that, you get the console, and then you get your wonderful 3-piece, which gives you the quantum destabilizing, which is like, all 6, come on. 4,300 phaser damage per second for 10 seconds, and minus 4.1 all power subsystems per second. So that's for 10 seconds. But you get 4.1, you get that stack. It's like, what? And then on top of that, it applies drain infection. The fact that they tweaked with drain and control a little bit, okay, when I read through that long list, it was like everything in science just got buffed. Because Science Fleet now boosts control and shield systems, as well as all of the rest of the stuff it did before. Looking at that, you cast you do Science Fleet plus 40% shield resistance, 40 Starship shield restoration, shield capacity, drain expertise, and control expertise. And it's on a 5-minute cooldown, but it helps your entire team, especially when you're under attack inside the thing. 100%, 40% shield defense. Well, hell. It's like bridge officer abilities. Yeah, we've got all the target subsystem is now awesome. It's a drain. It was a drain before, but now it will pull power away very slowly, and then it has a chance to knock it offline. I think it's even more powerful than it was before. My target shield subsystems right now drain 6.2 shield power from the target for 10 seconds. Stacks 10 times. That's 60 shield power with a 6% chance to knock the subsystem offline. Well, if you shoot out engines, most things don't have really high engines. So, Alt 6. Alright, not affected by my aux power. I thought it might have. Extend shields is now 10 kilometers. That's why I never used it before. I used transfer shield strength and not extend shields, because to extend shields you needed 3 kilometers distance, and people relying on another player to stay that close to you is like asking a tactical officer to not. Anyways, it's like hazard emitters now additionally cleanses dot effects. Before it was just hazards. Now it's hazards and dots. Transfer shield strength. The amount of shield shielding been decreased slightly. Well, that's fine. It was pretty amazing to begin with. I would use it on myself just because it was a good shield heal. Damage dealt has been decreased. Now a target cap of 25. Gravity Well's pull now scales much more aggressively with control expertise. Well, yeah. Tychon's Rift is so powerful right now. The amount of drain has been increased. The damage dealt has been increased slightly. Here's the thing. Alt 6. It's 36 all power levels per second for 13 seconds. Per second for 13 seconds. 4 seconds. Things have no power. And they continuously just degrade, and they can't. Meanwhile, it says ignore shields. Well, guess what? There's shield power. I dropped it on a Voth city ship, not the really big one. I dropped it on Borg Disconnected Advanced. I flew in, waited for the Borg Queen to attack it so it's getting its immunity shield up front, and then I hit emergency powered Aux, hit my science team because I hadn't used it yet, and then I dropped a Titan's Rift on it. And it was just like 1, 2, and the ship stopped firing, it lost all its shields, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna plow everything I got into it. And I got really close and I just started tearing it up. Titan's Rift, this is Titan's Rift 2. If you do 3, even if you do 1, it's nuts. I wanna see more of y'all with Titan's Rifts out there. All right, skills. I'll just use this person. Titan's Rift can be a lieutenant ability. As is, right now, with these stats, a Titan's Rift 1 is minus 27.3 all power levels per second. And Titan's Rift 3, if you want to build an entire ship around draining, Titan's Rift 3 is probably your way to go. Minus 45 all power levels per second. That's disgusting. Science got ridiculously buffed, especially with that. You know, tractor beam repulsors, the damage has been decreased slightly. Well, it was pretty insane to begin with. I mean, you had freaking escorts using tractor beam repulsors 1 because it was just that much more DPS, but then they with everything. Like, okay, let's get everything here and I'm gonna get it nice in a cone effect, and you got some little escort, and you're like, I can't tell you how many freaking escorts I flip off per hour. You know, and then a lot of the stuff with Temporal Operative, that got tweaked. I even was like browsing through Temporal Operative. Like, because like 2 of my science guys are Temporal Operative, and the Vesta has a Temporal Operative slot, so I thought maybe I could use one of their abilities. But like, the idea with Temporal Operatives, this plus, you know, decay plus, or the entropy plus it consuming, and if you have 2 abilities, then they're great, but, so I didn't end up doing anything, but it's like chronometric inversion field, and it says decreased slightly. That's the damage dealt been decreased. What was it before? It looked insane. Skill tree changes. Probability manipulation, penetration unlock now gives a chance to crit. Chance on crit to gain stacking armor penetration buff. All I have is probability collapse, which increases the duration, because I don't really care about the other ones. But yeah, like, I know you're all wondering, you know, about specialization, you know, about science officer, because I'm a science officer. I always play science officer. And there's a lot of people out there that are not science officers in science vessels speculating on science powers, and you're like, you're not even doing it. But remember, the key to science is knitting your stuff together. Procking things off procking things. I can't even begin to explain to you how long some of my tooltips are. I mean, Cannon Rapid Fire is the smallest one. Gravity Well is the size of my head. It's width? Yeah, my face is the size of Gravity Well. Because we got 25% chance plus 40 aux power, 10 for 10 seconds after activating exotic damage abilities, 25% chance to create an additional one, 20% chance to create an additional one, and all that stuff. That's what I'm saying, is like, we've got a lot of stuff that got slightly nerfed, but mostly drains got buffed. Like, even the Plasmonic Leech has now stacks 10 times and works on top of the Mako Resilient Shield, so you can get more power levels from taking damage. Which is also the adapted Klingon Honor Guard, you know, for those of you who happen to play Red Side. They've really buffed draining. Like, Tachyon Beam didn't get touched, but even Aceton Beam is nuts now for engineering. So I guess if you want your advice best, I mean, just like me, I have a whole crap ton of drain. And if you play a science vessel right, you're draining the crap out of things. Also, if you do happen to get the tier 6 Vesta, I highly advise you get the one that has the omnidirectional tachyon wave siphoning, because I can't. It has a max of 20. No wonder. Anyways, but when I fly through Swarm, I activate this thing and I drain 4,800 shields per second for 10 seconds. And then all that gets put into a secondary shield. I go through Swarm and nothing has shields left. I thought this was like halved against players. It's not. Someone flew by me while I had that up because I was draining off the core. Guess what? You can do that. It's got a lot of shields, by the way. But a player came by and I saw my little, you know, beam shoot out, and I clicked on them and I saw their shields. They lost shields so fast. Like, they even hit Science Team and I saw the little, I was like, your shields are gone. And they stopped in front of me and turned around, and I'm just like, I'm gonna belly beam you. Because they had no shields. And I just chewed them up real fast. And like, I'm sorry, Mr. Warbird, you couldn't battle cloak because I sensor scanned you. Yeah, I'm a turd. I'm a turd. I get it. So I will chat with you guys next week. If you have any questions about the science officer I didn't cover, about the stat things, ask them below. I will chat with you guys next week. Bye.